What's up guys, welcome to your 16th 3D Studio Max tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you what all this other stuff means in the material options editor right here, and also I'm going to be going over maps a little bit. So let's go ahead and create a sphere first of all. Just create it, then I'm just going to move it and drag it up above the plane right there, and let's go ahead and add some material to this. So go ahead and bring up your material editor by pressing M on your keyboard, and your material editor will pop up. Now let's go over the rest of these parameters right here. We went over pretty much everything above the shader basic parameters. What a shader is it pretty much each of these shaders is an algorithm to give a different appearance. Blend is default, and I'm not really going to be going over the other one, these right now, because they're kind of confusing and we don't really need to for anything. So just stick with blend for now. The wire right here is just an appearance of your preview. If you can look up here, the wire two-sided means you can see the front and back of it. Faceted, if you uncheck these, it's like a little textured kinda, but just leave all of those unchecked. Pretty much you don't want to touch this ever, but I had to tell you what it was. But what you do want to concentrate on is the blend basic parameters. These are the colors, the main colors, just the ambient, diffuse, and specular. You can also lock them, so once you change one color right here, if everything's locked together, you change them all at once. So that pretty much is what that does. Self-illumination is if you want the object to illuminate itself, and what this does is pretty much get rid of all the shadows. So if you change it to yellow or something, you see that all the shadows are gone. Shadows before, not anymore. But we'll be working with that later. Leave it unchecked for now. The opacity of an object is just that. So if we go ahead and let's go ahead and make another object, and I'll show you the opacity. Create like a box or something behind it. Change it to green or something. And if I change the opacity, actually let me move this a little bit. Let me move this so it's right about there. Now I can show you the opacity. If I change the opacity of the sphere, it's going to be able to see through to the box. So go ahead and take this opacity slider and slide it down to like 50, somewhere around 50. Then go ahead and render it out by pressing this button, render production. And now you can see that my box and my sphere isn't lined up at all, and that's because this view wasn't selected, which is embarrassing. So now let's render that again, and I didn't apply that, so there we go. One last time, show me the money right there, no whammy. So whenever you lower the opacity, you need just to lower it to your desired opacity, then of course apply it to your object by clicking it or dragging or pressing this, which I didn't do last time, that why it wasn't showing up. And then when you render it out, bam, look at that. Opacity is pretty much see-through. So now let's go ahead and raise that to opacity 100 so it's totally opaque, and apply it again. And now I can talk about, actually get rid of this cube too. And now I can talk about the specular highlights. The specular highlights are pretty much the brightness or the shininess of your object. So everything's pretty much set pretty low by default. So let me go ahead and talk you guys through what each one of these means. The specular level is how bright something is. So let's go ahead and raise this a little bit. And as you can see, the hot spots on it are getting brighter and brighter. So now we have a little bit of shine right here. The glossiness, actually let's go ahead and blow that out totally. The glossiness is how big that is. So if we narrowed it right here, you can see it's only a little pinpoint or only a little bit of shine. If we took it and drag it out like this, we'd have a big old glare on it like that. So again, the intensity, the size, and soften is, you probably don't want to use this a lot. It pretty much spreads the highlight. It pretty much has to do with putting the highlight across the area that you define it glossiness. So again, forget I ever say that. Don't ever touch soften unless I tell you to, and I didn't tell you to. So now when you render this out, we get a nice little shine on our object as well. So I guess aside from opacity, I guess we can just move to maps right now. So what a map is like I said before, pretty much something cool. Like it's pretty much like putting a sticker on your object and making it do something. Even like putting a label on it. And actually, I'm just going to show you something real quick with maps, real quick. So go ahead and delete this, and let's go ahead and make a plane by clicking plane in your front view. Looks pretty good right there. We probably want to rotate it. So click rotate like that, and then we want to move it using select and move it right there, so we get some kind of plane like that. Now let's switch views to maximize toggle viewport and create a sphere right here. And actually don't want that blue, I want that like pink or something. And let's go ahead and move this up by clicking your left view or something and moving it, not you Hoss, this one right here. So get something like this just by creating two different objects, and go to your, click this, maximize viewport, and go ahead and bring up your material editor. And let's go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. Bam, looking good. Now I'm going to show you guys some real cool map real quick. So in your second preview, go ahead and click this, and you can rename it if you want. I'm not gonna. Go ahead and expand maps, and then in your, let's see, reflection map, we're gonna want to click this, and we're gonna want to double click flat mirror. And what this is gonna do is give us a mirrored map. Now I'm gonna make this plane turn into a mirror, and I'm gonna reflect this ball. So I'm not gonna want blur, so uncheck blur, and then I'm also gonna uncheck use environment map because I don't want to do that. And I want to apply it to faces with ID1, which is this. So now, once we got that map all set, we can go ahead and drag it, select that, and drag it on our selected item. Now you can see that this ball doesn't reflect on this plane, even though we just told it to. That's because it doesn't show up till we render, and that's just to save our computer memory from having to work with every single map in real time. So if we go ahead and render that out, we can see that this ball does indeed reflect on this map right here. So that's I know I went through that real quick and I didn't really tell you guys how to use maps, but I figured it would be easier just to show you guys what a map was, so that way when I'm talking about it, you guys will actually know what I mean. And another cool thing you can do with map is, like, I can take a picture of my face and I can apply it to here instead of adding a reflection map. But again, like I said, I just want to show you guys real quick what maps did, so then when I'm talking about it, you're like, alright, what the heck are you talking about? So in the next tutorial, I'm going to be going over all the stuff I did with maps and showing you how to edit them and make them sweet and a lot better. So thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next tutorial.